What's going on, true believers? Welcome to another episode of One Shot. As always, I am your host, Jacob, and this week, tons of quality books out there. I even picked up a few issues I was missing, and let's get right into what those were. Phantom on the Scan, issue number 3. A few weeks ago, I had missed out on this one. I'd been reading the series, loving the series, and I had missed out on this series. And then they released issue 4, which I did pick up. And then this week was issue number 5. This is the end of the series. So, let me explain a little bit about this series. We start out with these people who we find out have a common link, and it's that they were all around when this comet crashed to Earth. And they all seem to have some type of powers, whether it's telekinesis or being able to read people's minds or hacking phones and technology with their minds and things. But they all wind up coming up dead. So they're on a hunt to find out what was done to them, why they're dying. And towards the end of the series, which is this book here, we learn that they were experimented on by a company, and the comet that crashed Earth, there was actually an alien life form on board, and they were implanted in their brain with a piece of it which gave them powers, but also kind of was creating new creatures. When they would die, their heads would explode and a new creature would pop out. Um, Overall, this series was amazing. The main character that we've been following, he winds up giving his life to save everybody else. He gets all the creatures that are out there to come and attack the main creature, and wind up killing themselves and the main creature to allow everybody that's been experimented on to survive. This series was fantastic. Loved every minute of it. The artwork is great, and they do something in this book that I've seen done in a couple others, kind of like Blue Flame. Um, but they put a QR code in here that you can scan, and you can listen to music as you're reading the book. So they do a song for each book, which is kind of cool. Barbaric issue 2. I missed out on this one as well. So my LCS ordered this one for me, and it arrived yesterday. And man, this series is great. You got just a barbarian who, he's not like the dumb trope barbarian. He's relatively smart, but he is still a barbarian. He wants to do bad things, but he can't. He's been cursed by these witches to do only good, and he has to carry around this magical axe that feeds on blood and talks. Uh, and then he meets this necromancer, winds up having to save her because it's good, it's the right thing to do. And then he winds up having to go on this quest to find out why they were trying to burn this witch, uh, which leads him into some type of like death cult, it seems like. And she seems to have turned on him, not intentionally, but she turns on him towards the end of the book. Love this series. I think I might have missed number 3. I'm not sure if that one came out yet, but I'm going to try to track that one down. Barbaric. We Only Find Them When They're Dead, issue 8. This series has just been so slow, and I think it's finally starting to pick up. If it doesn't, I know I've said this before, I'm going to be dropping this series. I may give it one more issue. If nothing happens again, I'm out. But this one seems to be building up towards something. The first part of this was years ago, where they were just harvesting these gods. There's like these giant beings that kind of float through space, and people just like get contracts to harvest parts of it. Then one guy winds up taking off. They're not allowed to go out where the gods kind of float from, but he winds up taking off towards that spot, and his entire crew dies except for him, and we don't know what happens to him. But years down the road, he floats back as one of these giant beings. So what's going on with that? I mean, it's got my intrigues there, but man, just pick it up a little bit, please. It's slow. We only find them when they're dead. Geiger, issue number 6. This series is another really good one. This is the end of the arc, the volume. I'm not sure what they're going with here, but this is the end of that story arc where he's trying to get these kids to safety, and protect the nuclear football, because the king is trying to take it from him and go to NORAD, so he maintains ultimate power. He winds up escaping from the facility he thought was good, takes him to a facility he knows is good, and tries to get the one little boy medical care because he has leukemia. And he basically tells him, I was sick too once. You might be okay. And then he winds up having to leave because that facility, he has bad blood between them, but he was trying to do good and leave these kids there. And then the king shows up at his place with a massive army, and he just goes nuclear and just wipes them all out. But we don't know if he lived or died. But the way they kind of ended it, I think he lives, and he's going to continue his story down the road. Great series, Geiger. Basilisk, Chapter 4. I think this might be the end of the arc. I'm not sure. It's the end of something, because I wasn't able to order the next one in the series, so I think it's over for a little while anyway. So the bad guys are catching up to our protagonists, and they send in just a bunch of cannon fodder, which gets wiped out almost instantly. And then they kind of step in and are trying to kill this woman and take back Basilisk, the one that has the eye powers. Each one of the villains in this, they have like a sensory power. So the Basilisk has powers for her eyes. There's others that have taste, touch, smell, and hearing, which is the guy that's on the cover. He has hearing. He can basically speak to you from anywhere he's at. But he winds up getting killed in the fight. The bad guys kind of retreat, and it sets it up for the next volume, whatever they want to go with here. This series has been great. It's only been 4 chapters, and they've done so much storytelling in it. It's been really good. Basilisk. Wonder Girl, issue number 3. So we're where we left off forever ago, it seems. Something happens. They crash the bus that they were on or something. I don't even remember. It was a plane. That's what it was. It's been so long since I've read this series, I can't even remember what happened in it. But they wind up on some type of island. Everybody's searching for her. All the different gods seem to be searching for her. The pantheons. Then this guy with a bow and arrow. They don't explain anything in this series. It just kind of, everything just happens. But she's kind of love drunk. I don't know, from a kiss from this god, Eros, I guess is his name. Um, and she's kind of forced to go with him, leaving the guy she actually likes behind. Nothing really happened in this book, much at all. So, very uneventful Wonder Girl. Dr. Aphra 13. This is supposedly a tie in to the War of the Bounty Hunters. The only thing tying it in is the location. They're in the same place. None of the story has anything to do with it, really. They steal a necklace, wind up finding out the necklace that they stole was from a New Dawn spy for the Black Sun. They get captured. The end. Rather uneventful, unentertaining, but this cover is pretty cool. I liked it. Sinister War, issue 4. Everybody, I mean, it's been issue after issue of the exact same thing. Groups of villains hunting down Spider-Man, catching up to him, beating him up a little bit, him running away more. Even in this book, they say we can't do that forever. They know that what they're doing. This is not storytelling. This is not good. Cannot wait for Nick Spencer's run to be over. Sinister War, don't bother. They're just throwing every villain at Spider-Man that he's ever fought. Thor, issue 16. This is the Peach Momoko cover that I love so much. That's Beta Ray Bill on the front. Thor is kind of going through his almost midlife crisis, it seems. He's hanging out on Earth. He's ordering hot dogs. He's dodging real questions that people are asking him about, what's going on with him. Then he's summoned, supposedly by his mother. So he goes to where he's summoned, and Odin's sitting there. Him and Odin are beefing right now. And he's like, why did you summon me under my mother's name? And Odin's kind of shocked. He's like, I didn't summon you. And then his mother winds up showing up in battle armor. So something big is about to go down. But Thor is not Thor right now. He doesn't have his hammer. He's kind of just left it. He keeps dreaming every night that Thanos is showing up with his hammer with Infinity Stones inlaid into it. And so he kind of just like leaves his hammer basically where anybody can get it, trying to fulfill the prophecy himself. I don't know. But kind of a filler issue building up to something that seems big again. Still enjoying Thor. And then Spawn. This is Spawn 321. If you guys are not on Spawn, this is one of the few books out there that's still $2.99. Has a cardstock cover. The quality is amazing. The artwork is fantastic. The storytelling, it's okay. The storytelling's okay, but still, I love this book. I was never a big Spawn fan. I know I've said it many times. But this run has been really good for me to hop on, learn a little bit more about Spawn, get into the King Spawn and the Gunslinger Spawn series. Loving Spawn. Spawn's kind of paranoid in this book. He seems to be unsure about himself. He's kicking out all of his friends. He's hunting for the other Spawns that are out there because they're disappearing. And then one of his friends, in a twist at the end, puts on the I can't remember his name, the armored Spawn. He puts on his helmet and seems to maybe become the armored Spawn now. Who knows what's going to happen? But this is setting up something big as well. Maybe in the King Spawn series. But this is a fantastic cover as well. This is a Mattina cover. I love that blue. Spawn 321. Dark Ages. This is the variant cover. I liked it a lot better. Dark Ages. What has happened? Something. There's a. I'm trying to get my words right here. There's a being that was put at the center of the earth before its creation. It seems kind of like a celestial type being. It was a machine that was trying to stop entropy and suck up black holes, but it became too powerful and just started sucking up everything. So the super beings, they couldn't destroy it because it became too powerful, but they kind of shut it down for a little while and then placed it at the center of a new forming planet, which happened to be Earth. Well, now it's waking up. There's earthquakes destroying the world, and then Doctor Strange and the Mrs. Fantastic, they go to the center of the planet with Ben Grimm. Ben Grimm winds up getting destroyed by this being. Doctor Strange winds up getting killed by it, but before he does, he opens a portal to where electronic stuff, like electricity, does not work in this world. But he's unable to close it because he dies before he does and sends the Invisible Woman away. So this portal gets bigger and bigger and bigger and winds up just no electricity whatsoever, no power. Like even Peter Parker's web shooters don't function. So nothing works. It's the Dark Ages now, hence the title. So all these superheroes are going to have to figure out ways to continue what they used to do without power. So like the Vision no longer works. Tony Stark's armor doesn't work. But it seems like they're going to go kind of steampunk-like, which I do enjoy some steampunk stories. But this has my attention. I'm enjoying Dark Ages. Fear State Alpha. This is Batman. So we're learning some more backstory to what's been happening with the Scarecrow and the Gotham government and how they're all connected. So they're trying to create what's known as a fear state to make things better when the population leaves that fear state. Because the Scarecrow sees that Batman has gone through, he knows fear, but it doesn't affect him as much because he's been through it. That's why his fear toxin doesn't work on him a whole lot. So he's trying to do kind of the same thing with the entire population to make them stronger when they leave the fear state. But Scarecrow's kind of working with these government agencies in the shadows, and it's just a bunch, mostly backstory to how that came about. Not a whole lot of action here, but it was definitely setting up something really good. The story is great in this. The artwork is fantastic. Batman Fear State Alpha. Darkhawk #1. This is a new Darkhawk, not the one that some people may know. I know nothing about Darkhawk, so this is where I hopped on. But there's this kid who's a great basketball star, but he gets these headaches, kind of dizzy spells. He's going to college, full ride scholarship. Winds up, turns out he has MS, let me see if I can even pronounce it, multiple sclerosis. There we go. So he thinks that his full ride's going to be gone. nobody's going to want him to play anymore, if he's just going to like pass out randomly. Then he's doing a vlog. And then something comes crashing down from space, it seems like, and then just destroys this building. So he runs in trying to help people get out, and then his MS starts acting up, and there's a gem on the ground that he reaches for and grabs, and it turns him into Darkhawk. So he winds up just flying around the city trying to fight people, like villains and stuff, and he winds up fighting this group of masked individuals who turn out to be people he knows, but he doesn't know that yet. Only we figure that out. Pretty good start to a new series. I'm not doing it justice by trying to explain it, but I think this is only going to be like a six issue run, maybe. So not a huge investment. Darkhawk #1. And then finally, Ultimate Fallout, Spider-Man No More, issue #4, the first appearance of Miles Morales. I picked this up. This is the facsimile. I wish I had a copy of the original, because that thing is super expensive right now. But this is the reprint facsimile edition. So I figured this is probably the only way I'm going to get my hands on the first appearance of Miles Morales. So I wound up picking it up. I haven't read this one yet, but everybody's looking for this book, the original anyway, not the facsimile. But that's all I have for you today. If you could, leave me a like down below. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you thought, what you bought, and what I should be buying. What should I be reading? Because I'm always on the lookout for new stories. I do tend to go towards the horror books a little bit more. But hey, if there's a good book out there, I'm willing to read it. So just let me know down below. And you know what? As always, have a good day.